Hello everybody, and welcome back to the third episode of Don't Cancel Us. I need to change that name. But in this one, we're going to be discussing my TikTok video. I posted some clips on TikTok of me discussing the Wilbur situation. Now I'm going to go through the facts that I'm stuttering. Once I filmed the video, I actually went and checked everything I said. It was just a summary. I didn't go into detail with any of it. But in February, Shelby mentioned that her ex bit her until bruised, and he would jokingly say it looked like she was being abused. They created a safe word, but she claimed he would ignore it. And according to her, he bit her legs to hide the fact that she was getting bruised. She also felt like she was being manipulated. Anyway, that stream that she mentioned all that on was later deleted, so there's no VOD. There'll be clips out there, but yeah, it was deleted, so. Fans later connected Shelby's description to Wilbur because ex's patterns, playful biting. That's what Wilbur did, I guess. Playfully bite. He later tweeted saying that he acknowledged being slobbish, disrespectful, and selfish, and he claimed playful biting that was consensual. He also expressed regret. He did not name her in this apology, the same way that she didn't name him when accusing him, which I think is fine. A lot of fans and her as well. Shelby said, I don't have it written down, but I believe what I saw, she didn't like the fact that she wasn't named in the apology, and said that he was being self-centered. I believe that's what she said, going off the top of my head. But why not name Wilbur in the first place when accusing him? You know, if I was going to do that, I would go all out. I wouldn't just wait for fans to assume. But, you know, not to attack her or anything. He didn't stop or take her pleas to stop seriously, and he apologized for hurting her and said her feelings were valid, but he never admitted to abuse. Apparently there was like multiple screenshots going around of certain conversations, friends, some fake, some not, so I can't actually say if they're fake or not. But people online interpreted this whole thing completely different, like, so differently between fans, between friends. I mean, during this time, I think Tobo made a stream saying, you know, the apology was basically tacky and like basically calling Wilbur like an idiot, really. I actually have a definite opinion anymore. Other than, again, there's actually not much information at all, other than the morals of, because she never publicly filed the police report, so we don't know. But he did apologize. In a way. And I think that's what you really can do in that situation. I mean, if you're not admitting to abuse, then you clearly, in your soul, think you didn't do it. But yeah, I stand by what I said in the last video, the first video that I did, which I said something like, if they should have, they're both adults. They should have said something to each other before publicly humiliating him. Because I feel like that's a bit harsh. And she may have felt like she's not publicly humiliating him because she's not saying his name at first, but eventually fans are going to find out. I bet she knew that. I'm not on Will's side. I don't think I'm on anyone's side, because they should have talked about it before going online about it and very public about it, because then at least he has a chance to change, which I'll talk about later on. So let me go through. Why do people want public apologies more than actual change? So, like, in the Wilbur situation, people wanted him to apologise more than the fact that he's actually moving on and making a career and changing. People prefer talking about the fact that he did that. People prefer talking about his past, which I know was only a few years ago, but it's still in the past. I think he's not a bad person. I think he's just done bad things. I am defending him a little bit because I just don't think if he did do it, I feel like he would say that he did do it, and he never really said that he did. So I just think anyway, but yeah, I think people would rather seek a public apology rather than looking at the actual change that is being made. I think that is pretty dumb, because imagine if you made a mistake, and I know it's a pretty big mistake that you made, but I'm using this as an example. Imagine if you made a mistake a few years ago and people were still harassing you about it, even though you know in your heart that you are changing and you want to change, but people are still harassing you about it. I feel like you would hate that, and it would set you back. It would actually set you back. So I think it's pretty dumb seeking again for more apologies or harassing other people that support him, because people will support him forever. He makes music that people will like. In 10 years, the people who are just being born right now will find his music and like it, and there is nothing you can do about it. You can't harass a 10-year-old when you're 30, you know what I'm saying? So there's nothing you can do about it. People will support him no matter what. And he's still going with his YouTube, and I think he has plans for the future, so people will find his YouTube channel too. And again, there's nothing you can do about it. People will support him. I feel like I'm lacking information. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to move on from that, because I feel like I've talked about it enough. But if anybody has any questions, like, if I'm being wrong about anything, let me know. Like, I do want your opinion. Like, I'm not here to argue. I'm just here to, like, talk about it, because you can definitely change my mind into changing, and I have an open mind, so let me know what you think. Here's another thing. Should creators and influencers be forgiven? No matter what, if creators have done bad things in the past, they will eventually be forgiven. David Dobrik, I'm pretty sure has been forgiven. I haven't heard anything bad about him since he came back. I mean, other than the fact that he's, like, swollen now. James Charles, he's been forgiven multiple times, but he has so many allegations. So, yeah, no matter what you think, creators that you don't even like, or maybe you do like, will be forgiven. no matter what, and you have no control over that. So individually, I mean, as a group you might. Why do people... Here's a good one. I talked about this one in my last episode, I think, a little bit. Why do people trauma dump on TikTok and in social media in general? Okay, 1 second. Hello, camera. Hello, camera. Alright, scurry away, don't... Where was I? Why do people trauma dump on TikTok and social media in general? Well, I kind of previously already talked about this, and I think... the overconsumption of mental health content could possibly make people worse. And I feel that way because I think it happened to me. I don't think it's a bad thing because, mental health awareness... Did I even just speak? Mental health and awareness is very important. That's why it's talked about so much. But when you throw around words like narcissism and depression and words like that, like I said in the previous video, it can become overwhelming, especially for young people online, and they may feel like it's wrong, like their feelings aren't valid enough, or to be heard, you have to be the worst of your case. So if you're sad, it won't be heard over the person who's depressed, is what I'm trying to say. So young people might feel like their feelings aren't valid because of those large words that have been thrown around. They may feel like they have to go out of their way and get a diagnosis for depression or autism or ADHD because what they're feeling isn't valid enough. Do you get what I'm trying to say? God, that cat's noisy. Another thing is family-friendly content. Secretly harmful. Yes. And no. Family-friendly content is not secretly harmful if it's family-friendly. But do you know about ElsaGate? If you don't, ElsaGate is a thing. It was on YouTube. It's still on YouTube, actually. If you search it up, it'll come up with like Elsa and Spidey, like children's advertised as children's stuff, but isn't actually children's stuff. So it'll be like somebody dressed up as Elsa or someone dressed up as Spider-Man, but then it'll be like Spider-Man getting Elsa pregnant, or Spider-Man killing the Joker, like something stupid. Like it's not. It wouldn't. Like they don't show the part where Spider-Man and Elsa doing the nasty. I don't know what to call it. They're not showing that part where they're actually having sex, but because obviously it would get taken down, but it's not necessarily child friendly because why is Elsa pregnant? And why are you advertising that to children? So yes and no, ElsaGate's bad. That type of content is bad. There is some YouTubers on kids, YouTube Kids, where they advertise it for kids, obviously, and it gets put on YouTube Kids, but then when those children are clicking on it, it's actually like really naughty things that should not be for the eyes of children. And I haven't seen it, but I know there's a few documentaries on YouTube, so If you want to know more about that, I'm not going to get into it because I don't know much about it enough to talk about it. Like, at all. I know about as much as information as you do, I assume. So, but yeah, I do know about Elsa Gate because I used to watch Elsa Gate content when I was younger, because that's when YouTube wasn't as protected. So, but yeah. No, the Stranger Things episode, I posted 2 videos on New Year's Eve. It's still New Year's, I think. It's the 1st of January, but when I publish it, it'll probably be the 2nd. But Stranger Things came out, and I wanted to talk about the fandom a little bit. So, is 11 overused? My opinion? Yeah? Yes. But she's literally the main character, apart from Will. So, I don't know. Yeah, I think 11 is a little bit overused. But she is a main character, so I feel like it's normal, it's valid, it's not bad. You know? Without her, it would be a shit story, wouldn't it? Let's just think about that. Like, without her, what would they actually do? There'd be no fight. There would be no... Let's never back down. We've got a person with superpowers on our team. Although I feel like she is just seen as a superhero. She's not actually seen as a human being who was forced to have superpowers, which is sad. So I feel like she doesn't have a lot of character development. And that is another thing. Does it limit character development? Yes. It limits her character development. Other people online have been saying that it limits everyone's character development, but I feel like it only limits hers. And possibly Mike's. But other than that, no. I don't think it does. I think it only limits hers and maybe Mike's, but yeah. The Duffer Brothers, afraid to kill main characters. So, there's been a few main characters that were on the brink of death, including Max, Hopper, Steve, and 11. So there was 11 in the first season. Hopper in the second? Oh, I don't know. Max in the 4th, and Steve in the 5th. Yeah, I think they definitely are afraid to kill main characters, because without the main characters, they wouldn't have a very good chance of winning, therefore affecting the plot. So, yeah, they are afraid to do that, and I think the season would be cut very short. I feel like it would have ended at season 3 if they killed Hopper. If they killed 11, it would have ended at season 1. If they killed Max, they wouldn't have had the Holly thing in season 5, so they are afraid to do it, but they're not actually afraid. They're just not doing it because they're going to get more money off making new episodes with a new storyline to every episode. So the answer, I guess, is yes, in my opinion. Is queerbaiting a thing or bad media literacy? Because I've seen this a lot on TikTok, especially recently, obviously. Over-analysing Byler content. You know, like the glances at each other and them hugging each other, like... No, we can clearly see, if you watched any of Stranger Things, you will know that Mike really loves Elle. And we see that at the very beginning, when he helps her and... Okay. When he helps her and, you know... And we can see the gradual, like, love of each other. You know, so... I think it's silly, the parlor stuff, but I think it's nice that I think it's funny that it's being shipped. Yeah. Queerbaiting is not. Overall, like in Stranger Things, they did not queerbait. Actually, maybe they did, but not on purpose. Overall, is queerbaiting still a thing? In all media, definitely, but in movies nowadays, they're only queerbaiting because they want to be accepted in the film industry, because right now, to get ahead, you need to be diverse, which sucks. I'm sorry, but I feel like diversity is killing movies nowadays. Not a bad thing, I think it's just killing movies, because people, the straight people who are trying to make movies do not know anything about gay people or diversity anyways, so they're trying to make movies but they can't because they don't know anything about it. That's the only reason why I think that, but again, my opinion doesn't actually matter, so there you go. That's all I have written, and that's pretty good because I only do 30-minute episodes anyway. That's all I have written for this episode. So if you do like what I talk about or me yapping, like, subscribe, comment any opinions that you have on this, anything that I've said is wrong, anything that you want me to bring up next episode, anything that you want me to talk about. If you want me to do a Q&A, if you want to ask me any questions and what I think on anything, let me know. I'll do a Q&A, I guess. I don't actually know. I probably won't get that many comments, but yeah. Let me know, kings and queens, and everything in between.